Welcome to Beth's Happy Home. I want to show you my favorite recipe to make for Christmas candy, and it is English toffee. It is very easy, but I've tweaked up the recipe a little bit so that it's more ideal for mailing because it's a little bit sturdier than the usual recipe. So it has a little bit higher ratio of sugar to butter. Let's get started. I'm going to start by putting the heat on medium-high. You can see I am using this 12-inch cast iron griddle here. And this is my favorite pan to make this toffee in because the heavy cast iron distributes the heat so nicely. I'm going to start by putting 1 cup or 2 sticks of salted butter into my pan, and this has been allowed to come to room temperature. Then I'm going to add 1.5 cups of sugar. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of water and then stir it up. Blend it up, get that butter chopped up a little bit so it can melt. I will give the complete recipe at the end of the video. And the good thing about this particular project is that it's quick. And it is really, really fantastic. I think most people would agree. Once you've got the butter chopped up a little bit so that the sugar is starting to melt, this is another trick that makes it ideal for mailing. I'm going to add 1 cup of slivered almonds, or sliced almonds, I guess they're called actually. And I'm adding those now because that helps avoid the problem of the nuts falling off the candy in transport, or even if you're just going to give it locally. If you've made it before, you know that the nuts tend to fall off. And so by cooking them into the candy itself, the nuts get toasty and delicious tasting, and they are not going to fall off. So you're going to get nut in every bite. And then I will use a little bit of chopped nuts, chopped almonds for the garnish on the top, just so that it looks like typical English toffee. So now that they're all melted, you just stir it until it'll get all bubbly, and then it will turn golden brown, and the whole process will take only 6 or 7 minutes. I will edit it out so that it's a quicker process. Now I'm going to keep stirring this because I don't want it to start browning in one part of the pan before it starts in another part of the pan. It seems like it tends to brown a little faster on the opposite side of the handle, and I have no idea why that would be, but it seems to be the way it works. So I'm just gently agitating this so that I keep it moving. Now while that's heating up, I'm going to put 2 teaspoons of vanilla into my little measuring cup so that it's ready to dump in as soon as the candy is ready to pull off the heat. You can see how this is starting to get kind of foamy looking. That's exactly what you want. But once in a while, the candy will kind of separate and get kind of oily looking so that the butter fat separates from the sugar. And don't despair, the candy will still be fine if some of that separates out. And it seems to be a function more of the weather, the barometric pressure, or the moisture in the air or something than anything else. It seems to be kind of unpredictable because I've made this recipe dozens of times, and just once in a while, that's what it'll do. I use salted butter. If you're using unsalted butter, you're going to want to add a half a teaspoon of salt right when you add the butter initially. What I'm watching for is for some of the candy to start turning golden brown, and it's going to start on the edges before it starts in the middle, most likely. As I said, my heat is on medium-high. Could turn it down just a little bit, maybe. Alright, this is starting to turn golden. You can see that color is changing. It's starting to look toasty. This is one candy I don't use a thermometer for. I just go by the color. And the color is really the best predictor. Now, because I'm using this cast iron pan, it's going to continue cooking a little bit beyond the time that I turn it off. So now that it is just a tiny bit on the light side, I'm going to go ahead and turn the flame off, or take it off the heat if you're using an electric stove. And I'm going to add the vanilla. That'll give it a sizzle. Stir the vanilla in very thoroughly. Alright, this is ready to put onto the tin foil. Aluminum foil really is a more accurate description. Alright. This pan, very, very heavy. I'm just going to spread it out a little bit. If you're not adding the almonds to the cooking stage, then the candy will spread on its own much more readily than it does with the almonds added to it. But with these sliced almonds added, I need to spread it out on purpose a little bit. Once it's kind of smooth, kind of go over it like that. Have it all spread out nice and smooth with a rubber spatula. Like that. Then just take some chocolate chips. You can use any style that you like. If you like milk better than the semi-sweet, use milk, but I love the darker chocolate, and so I always use semi-sweet because I feel like it just has that bigger punch of flavor, and this has plenty of sweetness without the additional sweetness that the milk chocolate is going to give. This is about approximately 2 cups, and I just kind of eyeball it, covering it with a thick layer of chocolate chips. And I like to be pretty generous in that. So spread them out, and it's actually the heat from the candy is going to melt the chocolate. Pretty clever, huh? All right. I can tell because all of these chocolate chips look very glossy that they're ready to be spread, and if a couple of them are not completely melted, once you start agitating them a little bit, the other chocolate will help to melt those that are slower to succumb. And you just spread them so that you get a nice even coat over the whole batch. Go all the way to the edges. Because this is going to be broken up and it's going to be garnished with nuts, it's not going to make any difference if you do any kind of a cute pattern in it or anything like that. It really isn't going to show. I have the chocolate all spread out. I'm going to take about a half a cup of chopped toasted almonds. These are the ones that I toasted in the oven by putting them into a cold oven, turning it on 350 and leaving them in there for 12 minutes. So they were in there as the oven was preheating, but that seems to be just about right. My oven takes about 6 or 7 minutes to heat up that much. And then I just took the almonds and toasted them I blended them up, chopped them in the blender on low for a couple of turns until they were pretty coarsely chopped. But now, because I don't want it to fall off when I go to send it or deliver it, as the case may be, I'm going to pat it down at this stage so that that melted chocolate gets a nice grip on it. And then I'm going to take this cookie sheet down into my cold storage room and let that chocolate set up, and it'll be set up within 15 minutes down there because it's a cold day. So this is all set up. I'm just breaking it into pieces, getting it ready to give to neighbors and to send some of it in the mail. You can see that it's nice and firm, but it's not so firm as to not be tender. It still has that wonderful butter toffee texture that is so traditional with English toffee. This recipe makes about 2 pounds of toffee, but I will put the recipe on my blog, which you can find in the little link that's up in the banner where it says Beth's blog. The recipe, the printed recipe will be there so you can print it off. But this recipe is ideal for shipping because it's a little bit firmer than the one that doesn't, that has only 1.25 cups of sugar. And you can see it breaks up pretty easily, and I promise you it is absolutely delicious. Like, you would be happy if you bought this in a candy store. You would go back every year because it's really quite wonderful. Thanks for watching.